have an that we touched on before the recording started was the first paragraph in our call to order statement. So with that, Emily, will you please take roll call, noting that Commissioner Carter is on an excused absence from today's meeting? Thank you.
Alrighty, Commissioner Kuntz.
Here.
Commissioner Cummings.
Here.
Commissioner Fain.
Here.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Here.
Commissioner Lefebvre. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, approval of minutes. So it looks like they'll be ready at the next meeting. Okay. All right. So we'll approve those at the next meeting. Public comment. General public comment will be heard at this time. Each person is limited to 3 minutes. For those wishing to speak on the public hearing topics, please hold those comments until that portion of the meeting, which we don't have any public hearings tonight. I don't see anybody in the room to provide public comment. And Emily, can you confirm, is there anybody online that would like to offer public comment?
There's no one online.
Okay, thank you. We have nothing under our general business and our new business section, but we do have a director's report.
Thank you, Chair. I will not put my foot there. My name is Lindsay Samel. I am the new Community and Economic Development Director for the City of Sequim. Thank you for holding this meeting tonight. I wanted to give you guys an opportunity outside of regular business to get to know me, get to know how I hope to support you and in your volunteer role, and how we can broadly support the community of Sequim. So with that, a little bit about myself. I have approximately 17 years of land use planning experience working under Washington State's Growth Management Act, and then some time working under Oregon's general planning rules. I started my career early in 2007 for the Puyallup tribe. And spent some time with the Puyallup Tribe of Indians before moving into municipal planning experience. I have focused my career around the South Puget Sound within the 4-county region of Pierce, Kings, Nahomish, and Kitsap. And so being offered the position with the City of Sequim and coming with the experience and knowledge of Washington State Growth Management Act, it was really important to me to stay in the community of Washington State. And I'm born and raised in Pierce County, just outside of the city of Gig Harbor, small little burb called Rosedale, and 5th generation from there. And so I'm really excited to take what I know professionally, my lived experience, my understandings of the challenges and the demand that newcomers to Washington State want and desire, and serve the community of Sequim. Let's see here. A little bit on the personal side. Let's see here. I'm going to be looking for a house tomorrow to purchase in the city of Sequim. And so if you guys know of anything that's about to be listed, maybe they can help. And let's see here. As far as preparation for my position, I have spent some time reviewing your past agenda, so I understand the decisions and challenges of understanding and not understanding, but of making decisions for the recommendations. I am being brought up to speed with the city attorney on a lot of the work that you guys have been doing the last few months in regards to interim regulations, as well as the moratorium that I will be carrying back for you. It was really important to me as I was researching where I wanted to apply, that there was strong leadership and strong volunteerism, and it's important to me that there is a community that wants to be served. And so I really appreciate the thoughtfulness and the intention that you guys provide in your roles as volunteers here. That is very important to me. In the where I choose to put my energy, in essence, and my servitude. I do have some sad news to share with you. In addition to getting me, we did get notice that LDC is losing Kim. She has accepted a director position in East Pierce County. And so I did get a chance in my first week to really work with Kim and get a lot of the download and the catch up of the work program that you guys are working on, as well as I have personal contact. I know her future city manager. We will be able to maintain professional contact to support some of those roles and make sure that there isn't a a trip up the steps or a stumble as we move forward. Let's see here. I do plan on recruiting for a senior planner and opening that recruitment in the next probably 3 to 4 weeks. So if you know anybody that has planning experience and or is interested in coming to the planning profession for the city of Sequim, I'd be happy to discuss that with them before they make any interest shown. So I just want to be as transparent as possible. I am very much a leader that leads out and down. It's important to me that I'm supporting those that are supporting me in the work I do. With that said, I would like to invite you all to a coffee, a lunch, a one-on-one. I'd like to get to know a little bit more about you, why you chose Sequim, if you're born and raised, why you choose to stay here, and know what is some of the priorities and values that lead you to the role that you're in as a planning commissioner. And then last is we will begin doing full meals for planning commission meetings. And so you will see a preliminary menu and request for your dinner choice from Emily. And those will likely be sent out probably on Friday to have you guys have the interest and knowledge of where we're ordering from, give you some time to think about that, and then ask to have the full request in by noon on the meeting date. Monday, somewhere around there. That is the end of my spiel for you. I did get a chance to speak with some of you briefly in the room as we ate our meal together. I want to open up the next item on the agenda where this is your chance to just Q&A me. I really want to let you guys know that you all should have my direct contact information, and I look forward to calls. Again, it's about transparency, and it's about efficiency, and it's about making sure that as a collective, we're doing what the community of Sequim needs. So thank you.
Thank you for that introduction. Do any of the commissioners have any questions for Lindsay? Eileen?
Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining us, and your future is going to be full of fun things to do. But the stability of the planning department. We've had a lot of people come and go, and just lost another one. Do you have any ideas that would help us kind of stabilize the department to make it so we can moving forward easier with a stable group?
Specifically with the Community and Economic Development Department, I think that the best way to do that is to show that they've got leadership that's not creating shaky ground. And I hope that I can demonstrate that the staff can lean on me and trust me to know that I will be the face at the counter in the face of hard times, and then I will let them get all of the praise as well in the face of good times. So I really think that a lot of my understanding of a lot of the transition is at that leadership level. And so I really hope that I can come in and fill some of those, you know, just be the balance board that they need and the soundboard that they need when they're feeling unbalanced or imbalanced.
No, I just felt like that was mostly directed to city leadership. I mean, I think the only change in that department has been the director, of which I apologize, and which I don't think I've had a lot of control over. But, you know, Joel and Travis and Emily have been pretty stable. I really feel bad that most of you have seen 3 different directors. So I want you to know that the city manager and the whole senior management team took this search very seriously, and we were looking for someone very committed, not in the twilight of their degree, not brand new, but somebody that really had mid professional career experience and was committed to a community. And we evaluate, I think I told you we had 23 applicants or whatever. And so it was very important to us. We shared all of those concerns very transparently with the applicants. And so that's why we ended up with who we ended up with, because she was committed to all of those principles, particularly of commitment to the community. And when we heard she was going to be moving and really her style is to fully engage in the community, that really helped us feel more committed to the hire. So I apologize for the transition you've had. I've been here 2.5 years, and I've seen that you've had 3 of them. So believe me, nothing's harder on the city manager than kind of a musical chair for a department like this. And your department is kind of the face of City Hall. So many people coming in, and anybody building anything, all the activity usually comes through planning. So just know that we don't take this lightly. I really appreciate her willingness to go out and meet with you individually, kind of off the record, and listen to what your needs are, and then to bring that back. And I will fully support whatever she finds out your needs are. We're all in on this department and on this position. So great question. Very committed to addressing it. Thank you.
And I'll also add that I did some thorough research on my management before coming in and applying too. So I have full faith in this.
Thank you. Alex?
Well, some of this is a statement, and for my colleagues, doing my background research on you too, I was very impressed that you tried to, in Lincoln City, clarify applications by contractors to self-manage their land use and building permit approvals, so they could almost do it online, understanding what they're doing and all of that. And that sounded like a terrific thing. And then in Gig Harbor, you guided them through their comprehensive plan. I think updates maybe more than once. And can you share some of the creative new things that might be applicable to Sequim? Of course, you're right in the middle of things. We're about to start the next week, the opening of the Guy Cole Center for the public to come in and chat with people of what's on their minds and stuff. So any ideas of what you found worked really well in Gig Harbor? And I'm looking forward to similar developments happening here. Thank you.
Thank you. this may not be as specific as an answer you're looking for, but active listening. It's not, it's really important to me that I am providing what the community is requesting and desiring. And so these meetings, specifically on the comprehensive plan at Guy Cole next week, are going to be very valuable to me because I'll hopefully be able to sit back a little bit and observe on the feedback and the input that the community is providing. There's the aspects of growth planning and the Growth Management Act in as far as a comprehensive plan that are important to me is concurrency planning, making sure that we have our capital infrastructure and coordinating with our financial departments to ensure that the plans can be implemented in a manner that is useful for the community. And so with active listening comes the ability to also, look at the other side of that dice. What does that mean? If you're looking at one perspective, what does the other perspective have? And really trying to ensure that I know I've done a good job if half of the citizenry is unhappy, but sad, okay, and the other half is unhappy, but okay. Pleasing isn't necessarily a part of community development, and I've accepted that over the years. But it's really important that I make sure that I can take all of what I hear and create an artistic and creative and effective and implementable solution from what the community is telling me. I don't have any desires to adjust the city of Sequim outside of the way that the leadership and the elected and the residents want to do it. And I think that you've got something magical here too. So,
Thank you. Do any of the other commissioners have any comments or questions? Nope. Okay. Do you have anything that you would like to ask us?
no, please, if you can't get a hold of me, if my meeting's full, Emily can help you. Emily, feel free to throw 30-minute calendars where there's gaps for the meet and greets. And hopefully I'll see you guys at Guy Cole next week in the evenings. I know that it's some long nights, but even just a pop in would be cool to see how things are going. We've got some training on the calendar if you need to stay or choose or want to stay to do that. Emily will help us through that. I'm just grateful to be here. I started last week. I think then we had talked about me starting yesterday. So I'm grateful that I was able to get in when I can, just immediately start the download and plug into the community and really get going to be able to support you guys and everybody here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
Yes,
go ahead,
there's always plenty to talk about. Let's see. I think you used the term "our collective future" in association with ethos, PNY, and also you've been involved trying to expand public housing and things to support families or prevent their breakdown in tough times. Can you share with us things you've learned or anything? Because it's such a hot topic here in Sequim, housing and.
While I did run a land use consulting agency called Ethos PNW. And while I was running that, I like you chose to volunteer. I volunteered on 2 boards in Pierce County, the South Sound Housing Affordability Partnership, which is a group of professionals as well as elected officials working to address some of the housing needs and challenges in Pierce County. And I was also volunteering on the Pierce County Land Use Advisory Commission, which, unlike planning commissions, it's like a hearings board for hearing examiner type decisions. I will say that my county council member wasn't happy I was leaving because I'm moving to Sequim, but I think that there is a lot of really good conversations going on right now, and all cities are in the same, that they don't have the solutions that they need right now to solve the problems, but they're getting the levers and the tools lined up to be able to make the solution be realized. But there is no one size fits all for the social challenges and the economic challenges that our society is facing right now. And being able to recognize the different levers and different tools for different communities work. And so I hope to get more into that as I get to understand and learn more about Sequim and the specifics that you need, whether it's aging in place, whether it's, affordable units for recent graduates of high school or college, or it's the demographics, and I haven't had a chance to really dive in a lot on that yet, and I'll be humble in saying that. And you'll hear that a lot from me. I have to get back to you on things, but yeah, I'm grateful that I have a plethora of professional just a professional network throughout Washington State that can support and help and make sure that the choices that I am recommending you recommend are what is right for Sequim.
Okay, thank you. Eileen, did you? Yes.
I guess I need to be upfront about having this training listed and those who've not completed the training listed on our agenda. I really didn't think that was an appropriate place to put it, because I know I've been working on trying to get it done for the last 10 days, and it's been computer problems and other problems. So it kind of puts a negative tone on those of us that are listed here. For me, anyway, I'll speak just for myself. So maybe next time we could talk personally about it, or it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, I apologize
Presented like
for
this.
that. We're working from the city clerk and addressing some of the timelines that she had. So we figured with this opportunity of this agenda that we could create a safe space for you guys for us to support you in completing it. But yes, I recognize your comment, and we could have left the names off and just sent a personal email or individual email to those of you that are still working on it.
Just so you know, mine's done
Oh, good.
And
this morning.
And
Thanks
and
to Emily.
I will add that there is a snafu with my profile. So when I went on to do the training 3 weeks ago, and it shows when I log on, it shows in my notifications that I have training due. And then when I click on the link, it brings me to my dashboard, which says no data available. So essentially it shows that I don't have anything. And I did it on 2 or 3 of the notification links and so I apologize, because I should have reached out.
Yeah.
I just was like, oh, I guess it's clear. I guess I don't have it I don't have it anymore. And so I just went on with my life, and I should have followed up with that. But it wasn't for a lack of diligence in trying to get it done.
I appreciate you mentioning that. Yeah, if you guys ever have any challenges or issues with the technology that's assigned, I am more than happy to help with sending out a help desk. It's not just, as you know, there's a team of us in the city. We have our IT department and other departments. So feel free to pick up that phone or shoot an email and say, hey, I think something's missed or amiss in my assignments. But more than happy, and appreciate you bringing that up. And so were you able to get those?
I did stop by, and Emily gave me the test.
Okay.
So I did complete it, but I would like to have some help with getting on, because I'd actually really like to be able to review that training a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
I understand that at this point I'm leaving town tomorrow for 2 weeks, so it might be that, but I will be available and I will have my Chromebook. So it might be a little bit of a process, but
I'll send a help desk
Okay.
ticket tomorrow for you.
okay. Matt, did you have something?
Well, just it's. I love attending your meetings just so I can, because there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that I can help put in context. So this whole training thing was totally unregulated and unmanaged before. So the new clerk is trying to put some structure to it. It's not just you, it's council, it's all the other commissions from parks to arts to everybody. And so this is one of the process improvement things that the clerk has taken on. They actually whiteboarded what trainings are needed, what are the timelines on the training, 4 years, 2 years, 1 year, and then how do we, the next conversation was, how do we inform these different groups about it, and how do we track it, and how do we remind them? So it's a lot of people and a big project. So it's still work in progress. I love input like this. There'll be individual IT issues. I had a conversation with our city attorney today. The clerk's office is under the city attorney, and said we haven't really entertained the conversation about just doing the training in the meeting, because it's maybe 20 minutes or whatever it is, and then everybody just gets to check it off. So there's a lot of flexibility that we haven't even figured out yet. But if that's something that would be helpful and easy for you to just dedicate a part of one of your meetings and just sit through it, and we can just throw the PowerPoint up or run the video and just know that it's done. So I really appreciate your flexibility as we're trying to fine tune this whole training thing, and your input on how we're doing or not doing well is really important. So thank you for that. I apologize that Lindsay stepped into this at the last minute. So anyway, thank you. And I think work with your director if you think it would be easier to just show up to a meeting and have it all done at once instead of trying to individually do that from home or your device or whatever, just let us know. We're happy to accommodate whatever. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I like the idea of maybe it being like, if it's a night where we, have a small agenda, or, we schedule it far enough in advance that we have like a workshop meeting and we can all, dedicate an hour to getting whatever trainings we need done. Yeah. Yeah. If it's not something that is imperative, that's like, this is a 2-hour class that you guys have to complete by, June 30th or something.
And we would not need a quorum for that either. So
Okay. Any other comments or input for the director's report before we move on to go to the order? Okay, thank you. Good of the order. Does anybody have anything for good of the order?
I have a
Yes.
question,
Yeah.
because I am still relatively new.
Mhm.
And I had sent Emily an email about something I was reading about a city. They were working on a way to help fund housing and address housing. What is our protocol for me to bring that forward? Or is that just, Larry, thank you very much, don't bring that forward, that kind of thought?
Well, you could, did you have something, Lindsay?
One of the things I would like to do for the Planning Commission is establish a work program, an annual work program for you, so that you're well in advance aware of code amendments, housekeeping, streamlining, as well as take that opportunity to talk about, hey, can we focus on this? Can we focus on that? We are in a comprehensive plan year, so our calendar will be fairly full with a lot of policy discussion, and maybe what you're interested in will be addressed through some of that policy work in that specific element too. But one of the things that you will start to see from me is getting regular work programs, having a preemptive calendar so you know what's coming in the next quarter, and also picking dates that we know we're not going to be meeting. It's August or it's December, and so stabilizing all of that for you so that you know that your time is valued as well as respected.
Okay, thank you. One thing that in the past that like Eileen's done is if there's something that she wants to share with the commission, she will send an email or have Emily send an email out. So it definitely would be, you could get us the information that way. And then also in the good of the order, that's kind of, hey, it's, like I have something that I want to talk about, but that would be a good opportunity to say, hey, I saw this, or this is what this other city's working on, and just kind of get it in the conversation.
And just to add to that, Larry, I did put it on the Planning Commission planning calendar, so we can, if we wanted to bring it up at a later meeting, it's there, referencing your email and the information that you had in there.
Anything else for the good of the order?
In addition, Larry, I just want to point out that Sequim Municipal Code Chapter 2.36 talks about all the powers and duties of the Planning Commission. And if you don't have a copy of that, we can make sure that that's linked in there so that you can take a look at that as well.
Anything else? I did have one thing that I kind of want to just, I just kind of think that we should be mindful that it might be a conversation that's going to come up soon. It's been something that we've had on our planning calendar for as long as I've been on the commission. So at least 5 years, which is short-term housing. And, we don't have very much code at all when it comes to short-term housing. And so it's kind of been like a hot button that we've been able to avoid. Occasionally you'll have somebody that'll want to talk about it, or they'll make a comment or something along those lines. With this, we've all read the paper that there's a potential for a resort community that is, looking at coming to Sequim. And I've gotten a lot of, it seems to be one of those things that people will say, hey, I heard about this. What's going on with that? And because that community has the potential of being 50% short-term rentals. And I know that in a resort community, that's zoned resort, it's different. But I think that, Port Angeles had a little bit of a heavy lift when they came to actually creating the code, because they were a little bit behind where they probably should have been in the conversation. I have a friend of mine who is on the planning commission in Seaside, Oregon, and occasionally she'll call me and say, hey, what are you guys doing with this? Or what's going on with transitional housing? What's going on with, do you have a homeless problem? What are you guys doing with your short-term rentals? And we'll kind of kibitz back and forth. And they have an exceptionally complex code when it comes to their short-term rentals. And it kind of, when she was telling me, well, this is what you can't do. I started thinking about it, and I thought, I'm not so sure that if we have a resort, a large resort community that comes in, and I know that it won't be our decision here with the Planning Commission, but I think that we should just really maybe be mindful that this conversation for short-term rentals could come sooner than we want it to. And maybe we should be prepared to, to really jump in. If that makes sense. Anything, Larry?
I would take it one step. I would suggest we consider taking it one step further and not just be prepared, but start laying some groundwork, start doing the research, because it is a challenge to communities, and it is It is a challenge everywhere. Part of the article that I sent to Emily was about housing stock that isn't in use. It's vacant. And how do we address that as well? Because we're starting to see nationwide housing stock is no longer housing. It's
Yeah.
either vacant or it's hospitality. And that puts a different burden on everybody. So I don't know if there's a way for us to make that recommendation to not just be thinking about it, but we probably start looking at
I think
these other communities are doing to address it,
Yeah.
with the realization that just across the city border is county land and they
Right.
might not be doing anything, but at least we would be preparing the city for in a more meaningful way than maybe the county is at this
Right.
time.
Well, and when we had our work session last year with the city council, Brandon had said, we want your input. So maybe this is something that we request a work session with them. Maybe we ask them if they would like, if they would recommend that we direct city staff. I know the city staff is busy, but to look into that, after we have the moratorium resolved. Again, it's a comprehensive plan year, but I agree with you that I think that we should start having the conversation, because I realize, like, even with because I feel like it'll be more complex than say the what we're working on with mobile home parks, and that that mobile home park language has taken us quite a bit of time, and it's very mindful, it's very meaningful. The community is really engaged, and it's very, very important to the community that's participating in our meetings. And I feel like this issue might be something that will be as big of a deal. So I agree with you. So maybe we look at how we can, proceed. Again, I understand that there's a lot of work that
I can put,
Word.
so I was looking at the Planning Commission work program Excel sheet this morning or this afternoon. One of the great things is that Lincoln City had quite a bit of vacation rentals. I've worked in codes that have dealt with that and managed that, and had to establish a management program after the fact of them being established, and before Airbnb became a big thing even. So I am happy to pencil and begin some data gathering for a future work study. I would recommend that we do it with the Planning Commission first to really figure out where are you guiding? Is it open it up? Is it restrict it? Is it preserve and limit future growth? Some of the approaches that you may want to recommend to council. But I can definitely work on a presentation on the data of where we at currently. I agree that the code is fairly silent, if not silent at all, on it. And it does have impacts to communities, small businesses, and housing affordability.
Okay, thank you. We are really, well, I don't want to say we're really close, but I feel like we are getting closer with our manufactured and mobile home park. So I definitely want to get that resolved before we go way into the weeds with something else, because we've got a community that's very engaged in that process, and I want to do right by them.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Anything else? I knew you'd be good for some, Alex.
Yeah. I would say short-term rentals is going to be a hot button issue, because philosophically, many will see it as the government infringing on your rights to do what you like with your private property. And at the same time, in the county, for agricultural use, they're cracking down on non-permitted agricultural spin-offs, happening on farms. It could be concession stands or different things and all that. And there's a huge amount of maybe blowback on that. And so the things are, both things are kind of similar philosophically. And so finding a middle road to protect legitimate interests, also to make people's livelihoods work, for farmers to have income they need, and also those who own, especially if, well, primary residence is one thing. Anyway, to treat it as wisely and considerately with provisions and common sense things, and have that as a package might be really good to prevent it becoming a big flashpoint. Thanks.
Thank you, Alex. Oh, the only other thing I had to add to the good of the order is that I am planning on being present on the meeting for the 18th. So I'm going to leave that morning and drive home. So barring any, not going to jinx myself, but I am planning on attending in person. So anything else for the good of the order? Okay. Then we will adjourn this meeting at 6:16 p.m. Thank you, everyone.